Okay. All right. So this is Mackenzie Zanello, Purchasing Analyst at Banknote Corporation of America. So you want to tell me like a little bit about what exactly your job is?
So I work at a security printing company, and basically I just purchase all the materials. So whether that's paper, ink, office supplies, maintenance parts, it's my job to like get the order in for whoever's requesting it, and then sending it out to the vendor that we're buying it from, and then kind of tracking it to make sure we actually like get it delivered on the date they said. And so just like tracking the products from start to finish. That's basically it.
So where did you attend college?
I went to the University of Arizona. I started in 2016, and then I graduated in 2019. So I did that with like coming in with college credits, which really helped. And then I took summer classes. So even though it sucked, it was worth it in the end to, graduate that early. But I graduated with a bachelor's degree in law and then a minor in psychology. So it was really interesting. Like I came in undecided, so it took a little bit to figure out what I wanted to do. But it was a good path through college. So
You said that you majored in law. Were you
yes.
interested in becoming a lawyer?
Yeah, I was for quite a bit of time. I was going to go to law school, but then I just kind of lost interest in it. I didn't know if I really pictured myself enjoying that as like a career, with like wanting to have a family and stuff later on. I feel like they're always working.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always something I loved. So the classes they weren't terrible, like I actually enjoyed, which I think is important when picking a major in college, because that's all you're going to be learning about.
Mm-hmm. So is it necessary to go to grad school to have your job?
For me, no. I just didn't want to go to more schooling. I took a year off after I graduated. So it was kind of hard for me to like want to get back in the swing of school. Um, so not to get my job specifically, but it always helps. It's like makes you a better candidate for future jobs if you have more education. So if it's available like to anyone, then it's encouraged to go, because you're gonna have like a leg up on other candidates that are applying for the same job. So may go back to school. I don't know, but right now I'm just liking where I'm at. So
Yeah. I was gonna say if you wanted to like advance within the company, do you think you'd have to go back to school?
um yes and no. Like it would definitely help. And I've even thought about like getting my JD. So I don't know, just to kind of you make yourself more valuable when you have more schooling. And there's also like certifications I can get to move up. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still young, so I can always go back if I choose to.
Mm-hmm. How did you find out about this job?
Um, so I was nannying for a family, and they actually wanted me to do it one summer after I had finished working for them, but just the timing wasn't right. And so then when COVID hit, I was nannying for them again, and they offered me a position at their company. So, I mean, it was cool that they wanted to like have me working there for them. So I think it put a lot more pressure on me though to like do my best and make them want to keep me around. um, but the timing was right this year around. So I'm lucky to have a job with COVID, because I know a lot of people have been struggling to find jobs. Yeah, I'm glad I did it, and now I'm living in Greensboro, so it's a little different from Arizona, but I like it a lot. So
Do you think it's a job that someone will grow up and be like, I want to be a purchasing analyst?
Honestly, I didn't know like it existed, so it's kind of like a more specific field. It'd be more like a business major or something, and then going into like a smaller field in the company. But I would say I'm pretty good at it with being organized and like being good at time management. So it's like right up my alley. And with liking stuff involving law, like we deal with like different governments and secure printing. So it's kind of in that field, but not quite. But it's something I enjoy. So
Yeah, I couldn't learn much from online research. I feel like it's more of a individual thing, like between each company it would be different.
yeah, 'cause I was like looking for interview questions, like preparing, and it was more of just like a purchaser. Like that was like the job title, but mine's more like analyzing our spending and like where we're buying from and finding better quotes than like what we're paying. So kind of more like analytical part of it.
Yeah, at first it was saying it was more of like a human resources type thing. Mm.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I've definitely done some human resources stuff, but I've kind of gotten to like experience a lot of different fields in the job I'm at now. So a lot of good experience.
What's your favorite part of the job?
I would say overall it's getting to interact with like different vendors because we work with so many different people. So usually I'll have like a point of contact at one company, and it's just cool to like get to know them and almost build a relationship over email or like calling because I've never met these people in real life. So um, it's good to be making connections, like for future jobs. And that's probably my favorite part. But I also like probably the challenge of tracking down packages that like go missing because that's like
You like that?
well, there's a little backstory to that. There was this international shipment from Italy, and it basically just like vanished. Like I didn't know what happened to it because I had never dealt with an international shipment. So I was like losing sleep over this package. Like you could ask anyone. They were like, "Have you found it?" I never found it, but then I went like drove to the airport looking for it, drove to the cargo area, and still had no
That's
luck.
your
And
job
then
too? Like
what
you're responsible for going to the
well, no, I didn't have to do that, but like it would have been on me if it didn't show up. So I was like freaking out because it was an expensive package. So eventually I got a call from this woman at like a freight holding area, and she said she had it. So I got to go like pick it up, and it was like the best day ever, like knowing that I was the one that tracked it down and found it. So saved us a lot of money.
so maybe not that boring.
No, and there's definitely I mean, it's every day's different working there. Like you never really know what things you're gonna be purchasing or what issues are gonna happen with shipments. Right now, like all of the like UPS and FedEx, they're all really behind, so it's kind of hard to like know when things are gonna show up. But it can be a headache, but it's worth it when you find the package.
Definitely not for everyone.
No.
So right out of college, what do you think, like, not necessarily just your job, but for like an analyst of like kind of like what you do, any analyst, what do you think like the starting salary would be like?
Usually out of college, like most entry level jobs are gonna be like higher 40, like mid to high 40s to into the 50s. But that also depends on like what level. Well, I guess if you just came out of college, then that's probably like a safe salary to assume. But then if you end up going to more schooling and get more certifications, then you're obviously going to be looking at a better or a bigger salary.
Mhm.
But
But
that's livable for like someone just coming out
yeah,
of college. Like it's just usually you, and you don't have too many things to pay for yet. But
and you said like within the company, there's ways to progress. like as you work?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of looking at starting to like move into my path of like continuing on. Um, so hopefully I'm going to be taking over some more like actual contracts and becoming a project manager. So more focusing on like one certain project that's going on at that time. Um, so yeah, I mean, this was more like I learned a lot in this position, but it's like I don't want to just stay
Yeah.
stagnant. Like I want to keep moving up. So
Mhm. What do you find most challenging about your job?
um, like now that I know how to do everything, sometimes it can be a little slower, like just day-to-day work. But that also depends on like what projects we're working on and like the season. I know some days can be like a little slow for me, not having much to purchase. So kind of like trying to find other things to do to like keep me busy. But I know soon enough I'm gonna be wishing I was like didn't have a lot to do because I'll probably have so much to do in the future. So it's nice, but you know, sometimes it can be a little slower just depending on the day.
I mean, that's how it is, like even with my school too. It's like there'll be some weeks where I'm working nonstop, and then others where
Yeah,
like I'm not doing anything.
I know. Some days I'm like, it was like a few Fridays ago, but I had like 10 purchase order or like requests for purchase orders come in within like an hour. And I was like, are you kidding me? But as I was complaining, I'm like, I'm glad I have something to do. It makes the time go by really fast. So,
Yeah. What are the most important personality traits for to like do well in your job?
um, I would say overall, first is like being organized. I know for me, like I have a filing cabinet, so keeping everything like alphabetical, and then, you know, kind of noting on the orders like when they're going to show up to when to like expect them. So definitely staying organized because it can get a little confusing with like a ton of orders coming in. And then I would say time management, like when I am really busy, kind of just taking a step back and like slowly doing it versus like frantically trying to get it all done.
Mhm.
And then being personable because you're interacting with new people every day, new vendors, and like you want to make them want to keep working with you because then you can build relations and that as well as being like working well with your coworkers because I interact with a lot of them, like the finance department after like a shipment has come in. So just being able to interact with people from all different parts of life. So those are like the main things. I mean, there's obviously other little things, but those are the most important for my job.
Would you so you say it's important to be like organized and like are you like that outside of work?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you
Like,
always been organized and good at time
yeah,
management?
planners and calendars. Like I'm way too much of a planner, so it actually works out well. But I mean, it's a good skill to know just for any job, like being organized, staying on top of things, because that's, I mean, a lot of businesses like that, obviously.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's important for sure.
How steady is your work schedule? So like, do you ever have to work late some nights or do you ever have to go in and work weekends?
So for me, being on salary, it's basically like I'm getting paid for 40 hours a week.
Hmm.
Um, but then it's like if you're working more than that, you know, because you're on salary. So a lot of people will choose to work over, like if they have a lot to do.
Hmm.
Um, but I work 8 to 4, sometimes a little later than 4, or I go in earlier in the morning. And then I only had to go in one Saturday, and that was on Halloween, and it was this audit we had to do. So that was a long day, but for me, it's rare to like have to go in on a weekend. But a lot of people do actually if they have a lot of work to finish. So for now, no, and it's steady. It's nice.
So do you get like holidays off? Like every holiday?
Yeah, so we get